Every year, IndieWire does an article on the cameras and lenses used to make the Sundance Film Festival's documentary finalists films. Now, this article is certainly far from representing the entire documentary film space, but it does give us a glimpse into what gear some of the most acclaimed documentaries of the year are made using, and perhaps a snapshot of year trends of many documentary filmmakers. I think it does. Now, when it comes to cameras, the results were surprising and encouraging to me. There are two cameras that tied for most uses in Sundance Film Festival this year, and they are the Sony FX9 and the Canon C300 Mark II. Not the Mark III, the Mark II. The FX9 came out in 2019, and the C300 Mark II came out way back in 2015. These two cameras dominated the A camera list, combining for half of the films in the finals. Right off the bat, I have to say that this tells me that cinematographers and DPs are not chasing upgrades to their cameras every NAB. They find solid workhorses and then use them till they stop working or till they've gotten far and away the most value out of their investment that they can. Now, this isn't to say that gear doesn't matter. It does, and that's why these filmmakers invested in what they did. 5 to 9 years old doesn't at all mean outdated or archaic when it comes to cameras. These cameras were designed to be industry standards for a long time, and they are in all of the relevant ways. Starting with the FX9, not only is this one of the most popular cameras used to make Sundance Film Festival docs, but it also happens to be the camera that many of my favorite YouTube filmmakers own. This camera honestly has very little appeal to me, but it was certainly designed to offer a whole lot to documentary filmmakers. You can pick one up on eBay for about $7,000 these days, or $10,000 brand new, and it is a workhorse that you can go a long time with. Sonys do tend to retain their value better than any other camera company, and to only lose 30% value in 5 years on the used market is pretty astounding. If you're used to Sony's complex menu systems and settings, you might consider this camera as a solid long-term investment. Okay, on to the C300 Mark II, the other leader on the list, tied for most used camera for documentaries at Sundance. If this isn't a testimony to how good Canon is for documentary filmmaking, I don't know what is. This is a 9-year-old camera, and a later model of it has been out for some time, yet this thing holds up to modern standards with no problem and is a good go-to choice for top-level documentary filmmakers. I owned this camera for some time and have a review of it up here, and I have to say that were it not for the completely unreliable autofocus, I would still own it. In fact, there are many days which I do miss owning it and half regret getting rid of it. You can pick one up on eBay for $2,000 to $4,000 right now, which is a steal for what you get out of this thing. I know the C400 is about to ship, and it is certainly the camera that I most want right now, but at a quarter to half the price, the C300 Mark II is still getting the job more than done for filmmakers right now, and might be a better investment to begin with. For a quarter to half the price, you don't get full frame, 6K, raw light, triple base ISO, reliable autofocus, or XLR imports on the camera body itself. And is that worth 2 to 4 times the money? Actually, it might be, but if you're just starting out in this space or you don't have $8,000 to drop on the camera body only, the C300 Mark II gets you state-of-the-art Super 35 4K 10-bit 422 at relatively low file sizes that are a dream to work with, incredible dynamic range, and XLR ports in the best native top handle that I've ever worked with. Apparently, modern documentary filmmakers agree that this is a perfect camera for creating top-of-the-line work for the biggest documentary festival in the world. Now, Sony dominates the rest of the list with a total of 21 cameras being used in as many films. 5 of these cameras were the FX9, but the FX6, FS7, A7 III, FX3, FS5, FX30, and A7R3, all make the list as well. Most of those appearing in 2 or 3 films gear list. It's no huge surprise with Sony's low light and autofocus capabilities making them ideal for run and gun available lighting situations that many documentary filmmakers find themselves in. Outside of the FX9, most of these cameras are quite compact as well, making for great lower profile filmmaking. Canon is the second most popular camera manufacturer on the list with 11 total cameras, again, 5 of them being the C300 Mark II, but the others being the C500 Mark II, C70, and C200, which is also no surprise that Canon would do so well given how user-friendly their cameras are and how much they are designed for owner-operator situations. Their color, image quality, audio capabilities, intuitive buttons and menus make them absolutely ideal for documentary filmmaking and my personal go-to choice. Now, ARRI was a distant third place after Sony and Canon in terms of the number of cameras used for Sundance docs. ARRI was used less than a quarter of the number of Sonys and less than half of the number of Canons. In fact, all of the ARRIs combined equaled to the number of FX9s used or C300 Mark IIs used at 5 cameras. It seems that many of the filmmakers that did choose ARRI for their docs were coming over from more of the narrative space as it was, so they stuck with what they know. ARRI is pretty undisputed as the leader when it comes to image quality, but their cameras tend to require a full crew and be better suited for controlled environments and sets. What is surprising on this list is that Red and GoPro tied at 2 cameras each. Only in this list will you hear of Red and GoPro tying. As quality as Red is, they just aren't the choice for documentary filmmakers. Humongous file sizes and a workflow generally better suited for narrative filmmaking, again, make them rather prohibitive for documentary work. Well, as I said at the beginning, these are merely the cameras used for 21 documentaries that were made this year, which is far and away a super small slice of the documentaries produced in total in the last 300 days. But I personally find it encouraging to know that the most acclaimed documentaries this year were principally shot on Sony and Canon cameras ranging from 3 to 9 years old. Shop smart, and then know that your camera is designed to last a super long time while staying relevant. Don't get caught up in the hype of the newest and most exciting gear. Focus on your story and your craft and go create a killer doc. Well, I'll stop there. I hope this video was helpful for you because though I won't be seeing you in the next one, you're sure to see me. Rough.